Hey guys, it's Jordan. Today will be the start of something new. Today will be the start of my Pokemon top 5s. Why Pokemon? Because ever since I was little, I had just loved Pokemon. It's funny, I'm almost 20 and I still cannot get tired of Pokemon. It's just that awesome. So I thought, because I love doing countdown videos, and from the looks of it, you guys do too, why not do top 5 videos on something that I love? So subscribe to my channel to keep updated on these videos. While I'm on it, I have another channel called Jordan JSK, and go ahead and subscribe to that channel too. On that channel I upload different reviews and top 5s of different varieties. And of course, make sure you hit that like button. I appreciate all the support you guys have given me over my time on YouTube. Seriously, I just hit 50,000 subs. What? That's crazy. I did not expect that. So thank you so much for all the support, guys. I really appreciate it. So before I start, 2 things I need to note. One is that I will not be including legendary Pokemon on this list. I'm planning on making a whole nother top 5 just for legendaries. And secondly, this top 5, as well as any other top 5 that I do, is 100% opinionated. It's impossible to list the best because everyone has different opinions. So this top 5 is personal favourites, so if you don't agree with it, by all means, let me know your top 5 in the comments below. Alright, so let's start my first top 5. This is top 5 fire types. In the number 5 spot, we have Houndoom. Ever since I saw Houndoom, I've just loved him. I love dog Pokemon, and Houndoom's a freaking hellhound. The design of Houndoom is amazing. Like, I like Houndour, but Houndoom was even cooler. Just the design of him, and his fire and dark type, and I can't think off the top of my head any other fire and dark types. It's just an amazing type combination. His design is just awesome. When playing a Gen 2 game, I always grab Houndoom. And then in 6th Gen, they even gave him a Mega Evolution. That's how awesome he is. And then his Mega Evolution looked even cooler than regular Houndoom. So Houndoom's just an all-round awesome Pokemon, so he's in the number 5 spot. In the number 4 spot, we have the Gen 6 Pokemon Talonflame. Now, growing up playing Pokemon, every generation has their basic bird Pokemon that you can catch early on. So when Gen 6 came out, at first I just thought, oh, it's just another bird Pokemon. But then I noticed that Talonflame is part fire type. And that just amazed me, because every generation, the bird Pokemon it's just been pretty much a flying type. Like you had Staraptor in Gen 4 who got fighting type, but most of the time it's just flying type. So to get a flying and fire type, that was just amazing. Ever since X and Y, I like to have a variety of Pokemon on my team, so I have just all different types. And in Gen 6, I started with a Greninja, who was a water type, so I didn't have a fire type Pokemon yet. Usually I go for the fire type as my starter, but I just loved Greninja, so I took the water type as my starter. So I needed a fire type in my team, and I knew exactly which one I was going to grab. It had to be Talonflame. I named it Skyfire, and it's probably one of the strongest Pokemon I have on that game. Its design is just awesome. It's just an amazing Pokemon. So Talonflame is easily in my top 5. He is in number 4 on this countdown. In the number 3 spot, we've got the Gen 1 badass Charizard. Now, I started playing Pokemon all the way back at Gen 1. The first ever Pokemon game I played was Pokemon Blue. And even though the mascot for Pokemon Blue is Blastoise, I straight away grabbed Charmander when I started the game. Because when I first saw the 3 starter Pokemon, I just gravitated over to Charmander and his evolution forms, and Charizard was just amazing. It made me laugh though that when Pokemon started, Charizard couldn't learn Fly. Like, why? That'd be one Pokemon you think would learn Fly. But then, I was also confused that Charizard wasn't half Dragon type. Thank God in Gen 6 when they gave him Mega Charizard X, it was a Dragon type. Something that everyone had been waiting for, and everyone just went nuts. Me included. If anyone ever says to me, which Gen 1 Pokemon would you pick as your starter, I would always pick Charmander, because I just absolutely love Charizard. The design is awesome, he's just so powerful. He was one of the main Pokemon in the anime, which I love, by the way. Charizard will always be a personal favourite of mine. Whenever I do a top 5 favourite Pokemon of all time, Charizard would easily be in it. So he's in the number 3 spot. In the number 2 spot, we've got another Gen 1 fire badass, Arcanine. Now, like I said with Houndoom, I absolutely love dog Pokemon. Fire types are one of my favourite types of all. So to have a dog that's a fire type and just looks amazing. He was a Pokemon I always had to have on my team. Back in the earlier games, I didn't care much if more than one Pokemon on my team had the same typing. So I would pick Charizard, and then I would also have to have an Arcanine on my team. Arcanine's just that awesome. They freaking stated him as a legendary Pokemon. Even though he's not, but he's still called a legendary Pokemon. I don't understand why, but I'm not complaining because he is seriously legendary. I will always love Arcanine. I will always use Arcanine whenever I can. Easily one of the best, one of my personal favourites, fire Pokemon. And there would have to be one really good fire Pokemon to top Arcanine, but there is. So Arcanine is in my number 2 spot. In the number 1 spot, we've got Blaziken. I absolutely love Blaziken. Gen 3 is probably my favourite generation, and Blaziken's a good part of why I love it so much. When Ruby and Sapphire came out, I got my copy of Pokemon Ruby, and I instantly picked Torchic because I knew it would become that powerful Blaziken. He was the OG of fire and fighting Pokemon. He was just amazing. I knew straight away that I would be picking Torchic as my starter. The only issue was that you look at Torchic and it doesn't look that tough, but when you know what it's going to become, it was an obvious choice. Over the years, Swampert and Sceptile have both grown on me. Blaziken will always be my favourite of the 3 starters for Gen 3. Probably one of my favourite starter Pokemon. Probably one of my favourite starter Pokemon, if not one of my favourite Pokemon of all time. If I made a top 5 favourite Pokemon of all time, Blaziken would definitely be in this list. Seriously, look at Blaziken. He's a fighting chicken, yeah. So they made him cool enough in the games, and then you see him in the anime near the end of the Johto saga, and Ash's Pokemon got their ass kicked by a Blaziken, and that just made me love him even more. Then you have Blaziken's signature move, Blaze Kick, which is one of my all-time favourite attacks. So to have a physically powerful Pokemon with an awesome design, an insanely cool move, he is my number 1 fire Pokemon. Well, there you have it. There's my top 5 fire Pokemon. This is the first of a heap of top 5s I plan on doing for Pokemon, and I hope you stick around to check them out. So like I said, subscribe to this channel to keep updated with all my top 5s that I upload. Also subscribe to my other channel, which I will link in the description below. And if you liked my top 5, go ahead and hit that like button. And also, if you're on Facebook, go check out my Facebook page for this channel as well as my other channel. I'll link them both in the description below as well. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.